Hello everyone, Martian Vampire here. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Xanje Endeavors, and in this episode I'm going to be talking about my Generation 22 Panseliers that were born, and some pet shoutouts from the community, so let's get right into the Panseliers. I had 18 of them born on May 27th. I ended up with 11 females and 7 males. Somebody needs to stop me from breeding so many litters when I do these challenges. Like, I ended up breeding 5 litters, and then I had 18 of them born, and 18 is a lot to keep track of. Usually with these generation challenges, I like to only have, like, maybe, 8 babies born, and then once they get into, like, the double digits, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're getting a little hard to keep track of, getting a little bit hard to display without them just kind of getting lost and jumbled up, so I'm going to try to stick with at least like 2 to 3 litters, no more than 3, because I love Panseliers so much I just cannot stop myself. So here are my females. I had 11 females born, and you can see a lot of yellow in this litter. You can see a lot of really nicely colored eyes, like I was talking about in the last episode. I had a lot of dark-eyed babies born in that batch, and then in this one I seem to have a lot of them too. There's a couple pink-eyed babies, and a couple like black and dark-eyed babies, which I really like. This bottom row they have to be like my favorites, like the starting just right from the left, the one with the bright yellow. I mean, actually they all have bright yellow, which is why I like them so much. They have bright yellows, and then there's some light colors in there, like some pale pinks, especially on this one that's like the second to the furthest to the right, has some very nicely colored like rosy pink colors in there, and then it's also accompanied with some gold, and that is actually the first time I have seen really any gold in my babies. Like, yeah, I get some yellow, I get some darker yellow colors, but that is straight up gold. It occurs in the middle one on the bottom and the one directly to her right, which I love that, and I'm hoping to include them into some later litters. I don't think that I bred either of those ones for the Gen 23s, but I'm going to have to save their IDs so that I do breed them. But you can see up here in the top line, the 3 on the right that have the dark purple. They're really nice. I love their color palettes, just gorgeous, like pinks that go together, very nice. Some bright red. I always love bright red in my Panseliers. I wouldn't say that that's too rare of a color, but it's definitely a lesser one that I get, and they always just make them look so gorgeous. Like the red just reminds me of like bright red lipstick, you know what I mean? So, moving on to the males that I got 7 males, and the males, I have to say, are definitely more like, there's a lot more variety in them than with the females. The females, I can kind of like bundle them together with similar details, which is what I did in the last slide, but these guys, they got a lot of different colors on them. Some oranges in here, which I really like, how I feel about orange, and I'm starting to think that it's not as rare of a color as like I was talking about before. And this one all the way on the upper right in the top row has just gorgeous coloring. Like, I really love that pattern with the orange in the spots around the back and some, light blue on the back too. That just creates a lovely contrast. Oh my gosh, my cat is begging to be let in right now. I'm so sorry. Can you shut up? I'm recording. I don't want to hear your attitude. Okay, anyway, the one on the more further to the right on the top row, the one with the bright yellow, please, sir, please, is one of my other favorites. I really love his eyes, too. And the dark-footed Panseliers I really like the dark green, because they just kind of throw me back to, like, when I was first starting to play Xanje, and the dark green was a main color that I would get. So I really like those ones. And moving on to the litters that I bred for them, I only bred 3. I limited myself this time. And the 3 that I decided to breed, I'm only going to be naming the ones that I'm breeding, whereas in the last one I named all of them. It just gets like so exhausting sometimes. And these ones, I decided to go with like W names because I just was feeling the letter W for some reason. So this one, the pair on the upper left hand corner, Wilfred and Lunar Lander. Wilfred is one of my Gen 22 males that were just born, and Lunar Lander is one Panselier that I've had for so long. His coloring just really reminds me of the moon, which is why I named him Lunar Lander. My dad also, when I was growing up, he had like a musical project that he was doing, like way back in the days of MySpace, and I believe that it was his username that was Lunar Lander, or it was the musical project, I don't know, but I associate, like, you know, moonly colors with, you know, the name Lunar Lander, so that's why I named her Lunar Lander. So that's the first pair that I did. The ones on the left, Wilma and Twilight Nightshade. Wilma was one of the babies that I just had born, and Twilight Nightshade I've had for a while. She's a Gen 11. I believe that Romulus is actually her father. Basically every Gen 11 Panselier that I have, their father is Romulus, because Romulus is a Gen 10, and I bred him like 200 times directly after he was grown, so I have a ton of babies from him. And then these little guys in the middle have to be my favorite pair. I am so excited to see the babies from these guys. So Wanda was one of my more brightly colored females, and so I went ahead and bred her with Venom, which is a brightly colored male that I have with, like, you know, the bright yellow and the purple. They have lovely contrast. So decided to breed those two together, and I'm really excited to see the babies of these guys. Gen 23 is a pretty high gen. I'm probably going to say that in every video because I just keep continually going higher and higher with my gens. I'm really trying to do this as often as I can. I'm really going to try to not let it, you know, fall off of my radar again like I usually do. This project is like 4 years in the making, and I am really motivated to get to Generation 100. So I'm trying not to let this fall off the radar, and I'm going to keep breeding them. I kind of made an estimation. I should be in like the Gen 60 to 65 if I breed them as often as and as soon as I can, as soon as they're born, by the end of this year. So hopefully I can at least see Gen 60. That would be really awesome. So yeah, now we're going to be moving on to the community pet shoutouts. So earlier this week I posted a thread in the general game chat, which I will link in the description below, of, like, you know, kind of like a community thing. I was like, you know, I'm kind of tired of showing off my own pets. Like, I want to bring pets in from other players in the community to be showed off in my videos. Maybe this will get more people involved in watching them and bring attention to some of the other gorgeous pets, because I feel kind of selfish just, like, showing off my own. And, you know, they're always whammies. Like, that has to get boring for some of you to just, every week, I'm like, okay, look at these whammies, and then look at these whammies, and look at these, like, okay. There are other players who have gorgeous pets that aren't whammies, and I just can't find really any of my own to show off, and so I reached out and I was like, look, if you want a pet to be in one of my videos, just post it, and I can guarantee you it'll be in my video. So, let's start with the big dragon in the middle, Hypnos the Carnival Fire Drake, owned by Maple. Now, Hypnos, it says, or she actually posted on my thread and said that it was one of her favorite pets, and I can definitely see why. I love the purple on him, and then the yellow stars is like a gorgeous contrast to the purple. You know, purple and yellow, I believe, are complementary colors, so it's a really nicely colored drake. Like, the wings with that, like, blue, teal, misty color, gorgeous, okay? And she said that it was a result of her very first Redstone pet breeding as a new player, and I know that we all have that special baby or that special litter that we, like, first bred. I know I have one. If you can remember my North Masolo Whammy Strawberry, my bright pink level 250 boy, he was one of the very first whammies that I ever bred, and so that's why he holds a special place in my heart. So I can definitely understand that. And I have to say that the result of his breeding was a very handsome drake. So thank you, Mabel, for allowing me to shout out your gorgeous Carnival Fire Drake. And now we're going to be moving on to Orion the Wishing Star Kikira, owned by Friendhamster. Now, Friendhamster had a little bit of like an uncertain kind of post. Like, she was just like, or they were just like, okay, you can go onto my profile and go through my pages and see if you find a pet that you like. And I was like, do you have a specific room you'd like me to look in? And they were just like, you have free reign. So I noticed that they liked Wishing Star Kikira. Like, I really did some detective work and investigating. So I noticed that they liked the Wishing Star Kikira, and I went into their Wishing Star room and I chose from the named ones, because I know that if you name a pet, like, it has to stand out to you in some way. You know, it has to be, you know, at least a preference of that one pet, you know what I mean? So I found Orion, and I thought that this Kira was very gorgeous. Like, the purple and the pink have to be, like, my favorite color combination, and the green eyes just lovely. Like, Wishing Star Kakiras, I'm not a big fan of Kakiras to begin with. Like, I don't hate them, but it's like they're not my favorite pet. And Wishing Stars are one of my favorite patterns of the Kakiras because, you know, I love cosmic and space themed patterns. So I was really excited to find this one and show it off. So thank you, Friend Hamster, for allowing me the freedom to actually go in and choose which pet to show off, because that was really cool, you know. So, yep, there's your Kikira. And thank you. So now we're going to be moving on to Angora the Ring-Spotted Nyari, and I am going to apologize in advance to this player because I am definitely going to be butchering their name. But in my head I've always pronounced it as eaneul or eaneul. I'm so sorry. If you have the correct pronunciation, please message me or at least post it, because I don't want to continue to butcher your name if you decide to have more of your pets be shouted out in my videos. So apologies for that. But I love this Nyari. Like, I'm sorry, but what? Like, she is so pretty. Ring-spotted Nyaris usually have a very like distinct pattern to them, lots of colors, and this one is just like a pure white Nyari with gorgeous blue eyes. I don't see any markings on this pet. Like, do you? I don't see any. So I definitely thought that this pet deserved a spot in one of my videos for being the most gorgeous Nyari I've ever showed off, and actually the very first. So, you know, she gets a couple, you know, first place ribbons here, I'd have to say. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So yeah, I'll be posting the link to my thread of pet shoutouts in the description below and in the master thread. So if you would like to see one of your pets in one of my videos, just go ahead and post them. Give me like maybe a short description of what you would like me to say. If you want me to say anything, you know, hands down, I would just mention like the name, the pattern, and who owns it. But if you want specific things to be said about your pet, please do let me know. I would love to feature the community's pets in my future videos, because I just think that this community has some beautiful pets that deserve to be showed off. So thank you to the 3 users here who posted and allowed me to show off their pets. And I want to thank you for clicking on this episode of Xanje Endeavors, and I will see you in next week. Bye-bye!